Ah, California. Beautiful beaches, the home of the entertainment industry, and it's bloody gang violence. What more could you ask for? Have you ever thought of moving there, though? A lot of people do dream of going to California, and some people have even had a strong desire to move there to build a life. It turns out that is an absolutely terrible idea. Because in this video, we're going to look at 10 legitimate reasons to not move to California. These reasons are based on, well, pretty much everything that matters to people in terms of living someplace. Things like safety, cost of living, and likelihood of getting nuked by North Korea. Homelessness. Okay, look, I'm not saying homeless people are evil or dirty or, well, anything like that. But if I did, I certainly wouldn't say it on a YouTube video like this. I would say it privately, maybe on a private channel that only fellow jerks would watch, with whom I could talk freely about overhauling the entire society and eliminating groups of people we would deem to be undesirable. But, you know, I'm never like that. What? I genuinely feel bad for the homeless population here because it's really gotten terrible. There's about 150,000 homeless people in California, and in Los Angeles alone, it's well known that there's a whole area called Skid Row, which is full of tents in which people have made their new home. When you're a kid, that sounds great, like, wow, you mean I can choose to live in a tent? Awesome! But then you grow older and you're like, yeah, no, I need my sofa and my Vitamix. There can be many reasons for this homeless crisis, some of which probably include more social programs, shelters, and, well, amazing weather. It's just a better idea to sleep outside in California than it is in Michigan. You're homeless, but hey, at least you got a tan. Perfect target for North Korea. This is going to be an unexpected one, especially if you've never personally felt threatened by North Koreans before. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer, who is an international security expert, believes that Long Beach is a prime target for North Korean missiles. He said, quote, "If I'm sitting in North Korea and looking at possible targets, I'm going to be looking at Long Beach very closely." Gee, Hal, thanks for giving the North Koreans a great idea to annihilate hundreds of thousands of us. On the plus side, it was also reported after a test flight that the US could definitely carry a nuke from California to North Korea, so wait, did I just turn that into a positive thing? By using a really messed up online tool called Nuke Map, you can actually get an estimation of how much damage that a nuclear missile would do to a particular area. I was going to try it, but I got way too disturbed. It actually says, quote, "Drag the marker to where you'd like to target," and there's a detonate button. I've never been much of a military person, as my area of expertise is more like, you know, making cute lattes with a heart in it. Drugs. Unfortunately, homelessness and drugs are very closely related. San Francisco is the perfect place, that is, if you're curious to see a guy injecting heroin into his leg in front of a 7-Eleven at 3 a.m. Yeah, in front of it. They won't even hide themselves. They just straight up shoot a needle into themselves as you're walking out with your hot dog and mocha latte that you paid a total of $2.89 for. Seriously though, I mean, I was being serious, but beyond the curious and possibly entertaining phenomena of shameless public drug use, it's a serious problem. The number of people in California that are addicted to illegal drugs is estimated to be nearly 3 million. The most popular drugs are those of heroin, prescription painkillers, and methamphetamines. There's around 40,000 drug-related emergency room visits every year because of this. Illegal drug use is the #1 premature killer in the state. And we're talking overdoses here, but also things like drug-induced car accidents can be responsible for at least nearly 3 out of every 10 California fatal car crashes. Natural disasters. The coastline is known as the Ring of Fire, which is what God called it after the song by Johnny Cash. It's an area of volcanoes and seismic activity, which means that it is prone to earthquakes. And that, my friends, is where the San Andreas Fault is located, which has 5 major earthquakes in a bit over 100 years. You know it's serious when Dwayne Johnson made a disaster movie about it. After earthquakes, the next possibility is tsunamis. Other than those risks of dying of a horrible death, there's also wildfires, which, if they don't kill you, will kill your favorite cute forest animals. If you follow the news, you know that these happen just as frequently because of the extremity due to the hot temperatures and the volume of forests and vineyards. Just one cigarette butt can end up lighting up a whole region on fire. So if you end up seeing a raccoon smoking a cigarette, tell him to drop the damn thing. Infrastructure. What they call the State Water Project was originally designed for a population of about 25 million, which, as you can guess, is problematic, considering that the state has a population of nearly 40 million, with a projected population of nearly 50 million in a couple of years. The water system in and of itself is basically the same as it was in the 1960s, which just goes to show you how California's infrastructure's needs have been pretty neglected over the past 60 years. As for the roads, they are some of the poorest in the nation, and they're just getting worse. It also has the largest number of bridges in poor condition in the nation, and if you've seen a few disaster movies, that's pretty scary. Yes, I based all of my knowledge about things on disaster movies. What are you going to do about it? Crime. High population, mismanagement, and the Mexican drug wars mean that California is pretty much a dangerous state. It's still not in the top 10 yet, and hey, it's not a competition, as they don't have to be, but Stockton and Oakland are among the most dangerous cities in the nation. The police in Stockton even put up a billboard saying, "Welcome to the second most dangerous city in California, stop laying off cops." Clearly, according to them, police funding may have something to do with it. I suppose it also depends on the kind of crime that bothers you, as some people are more bothered by white-collar crimes, while others would just like to not get stabbed. What is it with people nowadays? Caring about preserving their own lives? Pfft, go figure. Taxes. Yes, taxes are a thing everywhere else. Well, not exactly, as some countries don't even charge income taxes like Kuwait because they're very rich in petrol, or Somalia because, well, it's basically like a GTA 5 lobby in there and you're gonna get murdered for your socks. But in the US, California is the state with the highest state income tax, which can go up to 13.3% for the richest individuals, and some legislators have even been trying to increase it to up to 16.8%, which would effectively tax the highest earning people at the same level as the strictest European countries. As for sales tax, it's got 7.25%, and in most areas, local jurisdictions added stricter taxes on top of that to increase the taxes by a seller. In other words, you're looking at nearly 10.5% in tax rates. Traffic. Because of the high density population and the fact that the US is not very good at public transport, California suffers from terrible traffic. And since bad traffic is universally known as one of the most annoying things that make people miserable, you kinda gotta wonder, is it even worth it? The worst might be LA, where in some parts, you can only go 5 miles every 45 minutes. Why don't you put on some rollerblades and extend your lifespan instead of wasting your life away sitting in traffic? You could literally listen to your Harry Potter podcast some other time. Housing prices. Along with a general high cost of living comes ridiculously high housing prices, which are so much higher than some lovely places in the country that it really makes you wonder what the point is to buy or even rent a place in California. Are you seriously going to pay that much just so you can feel bad when you cross paths with hundreds of homeless people sleeping in tents? I bet even their tents are freaking expensive. If you're going camping, then ask them. Homeless people know their stuff. Bad for business. This is partially because of the high taxes, as California is one of the worst states in the nation for business. This is also affecting small businesses, as you can imagine this is really bad for employment. But even big companies are also getting out of the state, with companies like Apple, Tesla, and others practically up and moving their headquarters to other states overnight. A popular destination for these companies is Austin, Texas. Even the Hollywood industry has been starting to distance itself from, well, Hollywood. As you can see, California is definitely not the place to move. Check out this video here that explains why Texas is a much better place to move than California.